You're listening to the Voicing Your Brand podcast, episode number 16. Welcome to Voicing Your Brand. I'm your host, Tami Romani, and as a voiceover talent for more than 30 years, I've been a voice for many brands. But in today's digital marketing world, you've got to have your own voice for business. So now my mission is to help you learn how to use your voice for success by unlocking your authentic voice to tell your story and be heard. Are you ready? Welcome to the studio. Okay, welcome to my studio today. I'm here in my basement recording studio, and I'm solo today. No interview for you right now. I've got a few great ones lined up for the future, but I am in the middle right now of group coaching an entire group of people, and we've got entrepreneurs in there, we've got aspiring entrepreneurs in there, we've got business ladder climbers in there, we've got nonprofit leaders in there, and so many of them are working on this one issue as their first thing that I thought I would go over it with you because I think it is one of the most common things that makes people turn off from your message when you're being the voice of your brand. And that is using filler words. Now, filler words is when you fill up space, when you mean to take a pause or you need to catch your thoughts, put some thoughts together, and instead of leaving some blank space there, you fill it with a word or a phrase even, or even a sound. This is where like this smacking comes in, or words like so. Hear that a lot. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Have you ever heard someone do that where they are telling you a story, but every few words they interject a phrase or a word, and it's really hard for your brain to connect the dots there and pull out the content from the story that they're telling. Not long ago, I was watching someone online, and this is a kind of a well-known, influencer. I hate that word, but, he's got a big following. He teaches a lot about live streaming. He's got all the tools and the hacks and the different things, and he had discovered this new tool that I really wanted to learn about. So I tuned in, I watched him, and every fifth or sixth word was And I don't know how he didn't know this about himself, but I couldn't listen. I could not hear the content that he was trying to get across and tell me about this product because all I could piece together were the ums, and I turned it off. So what I want you to do is think about, what do you sound like? And the way to do this is to do some self-assessment. If you are already an online marketer, look at some of your videos. Or just record yourself speaking. Or, hey, join my online course, A Confident Voice. And you know what? The first thing I do is ask you to introduce yourself inside the group. It's safe, it's private, you will be cheered on, but you also will see in yourself what you need to correct. So if you've got this habit of filler words, first you turn the camera on yourself and you record maybe 2 minutes. That's all it takes. And then what I want you to do is play it back, but don't watch yourself because that unlocks a whole new load of things that you want to work on, like why do I move my mouth that way when I talk? Or, what's that hair sticking up? Or why do I wear that blouse? Things like that. We don't need that. We just want you to listen to your voice. So you're going to turn the phone over and just push play so that you can hear it and not see yourself. And write down what it is you need to work on. Now, if it's filler words, that's what today's about. I'm going to give you some quick tips about how to break yourself of that habit. So a lot of my students have been noticing that they use filler words, or as they're thinking, they will start a sentence with so, and then they'll go into their thing. And again, you're hanging people on. So here's what I told them. The first thing that you can try is for at least 2 or 3 or 4 days, practice thinking about closing your mouth for a pause. And what this takes is overthinking it for a few minutes, and then you can not ever think about it again. Well, okay, more than a few minutes. Let's say you have to overthink it for a couple of weeks or several days at the minimum, and then you won't even notice anymore, and you kind of cure yourself. Now, I will say that normal speech includes 1 or 2 of these words. I'm going to say occasionally when I pause, but the problem comes when you do it constantly so that it becomes a very annoying pattern that makes people not hear your message. That's where the problem is, and that's what we want to break. So for a few days, practice closing your mouth for a pause. And what that does is it removes the ability for any sound to come out with that air because your mouth is closed. Very simple. Close your mouth. No one else will notice, I promise. You will think it's overdone and over-exaggerated, but no one else will notice. The next solution, it kind of came from Toastmasters. One of my friends who's in Toastmasters told me about this, that at the back of the room, there's someone who rings what they call the ah bell. Someone rings a bell when you say a filler word. Now, I know it's not always convenient to do that, so let's translate that into what can you do by yourself in order to make yourself aware. And I would say, tap yourself on the leg or snap your fingers. Now, of course, you can't do that if you're recording live or going live on Facebook, but you could tap yourself on the leg when you hear yourself say After a while, you will be so aware of it that you'll notice. I had one student this week who already told me that she started doing that, and whereas she had almost too many ums to count, the last time she did a 3-minute video with doing that technique where she was tapping herself every time she did the ums, she had trained herself over the course of about 4 days. She only had 1 in a 3-minute video. And that's a great victory. That is listenable right there. That is totally listenable. You could find someone to practice with because I guarantee you have a friend who also has this problem, right? What filler words do to our speech is they cause something called disfluency, and it weakens your message and it distracts your listeners. It's been said that 20% of words in everyday conversation are disfluencies, and that just means it is something that it just interrupts our thought process. And when you have a message that's important, when you have something that you really want to tell someone about, whether it be your business, your product, your offering, maybe you're a coach or a consultant, anything that you offer, you want people to get the meat of your message and not be broken up and have to have the extra brain power to put your message together. We want to avoid that. You want to make it easy for people. If you make it hard for people, they will find someone else who does the same thing you do. So to make yourself more approachable, more authoritative, and sound like you know what the heck you're talking about, you've got to get rid of the filler words. Another thing you could do, and I've heard people do this, it's painful, but they put a rubber band around their wrist and they hold on to it with their fingers on their other hand and they slightly snap themselves with that. It's kind of the same result as tapping yourself on the leg, although it might be a little more painful. But it's a physical reminder that you're using a filler word, and it can actually retrain your brain and your mouth to stop saying those words. I guarantee you'll see results. As in anything, your speech patterns, there's muscle memory there. So you have to do the work. You have to have a workout in order to build the kind of speech patterns that will make you have an attractive voice that people want to listen to. Okay, that's it for today. That was a very quick tip and a simple solution, but it's one not a lot of people are aware of. I hope this has been helpful for you today. Listen, if you want to get in on my group coaching program, A Confident Voice, go to aconfidentvoice.com. You'll see a description of everything. If that strikes a chord with you, put your name on that waiting list. I'm going to be opening the doors again in April of 2019, and I would love to have you there. Because if you're letting your voice hold you back, if your voice is a roadblock to where you need to go, it would just bring me such joy to be able to bring you to a place of your voice being a gateway to everything you want. Let's switch the script on that and, open a world of possibilities to you. Thank you for joining me today. I will catch you next time in the studio. Bye-bye.